You're on.
I'm on. Okay, my name is Misumi. I'm a member of the Iona Valley Bromeliad Society. We'd like you to join, and I'm going to give you guys some of these flyers at the end. We have club meetings that are really interesting. Okay, I'm going to talk more about that a little later. Meanwhile, let's start talking about bromeliads. Bromeliads are found only in the New World, mostly growing in wild in southern United States, Mexico, Central America, and South America. That's the only place they're native to. As Phil Fletchko so knowingly points out, hummingbirds are the same way. They only are found in the New World. So you don't go to Africa and find bromeliads or hummingbirds. Not that they don't have their own unique plants and animals. Bromeliads is a really diverse family. If you guys have seen our show, you see that there's probably around 60 different genera of plants in the family called Bromeliaceae. Okay, and just for some examples, and most of them will, because of the variety and the way they grow, also require different conditions. But there's certain things that, you know, are common to all of them. So a lot of them grow on rocks or in trees. You ever go to, you know, Mexico or South America, you look at all the trees and you see all these guys along with the orchids and bromeliads just growing all over the trees. They're epiphytic, okay? But let me just go through some of these guys because I think they're great plants. You get little guys like Dickeas, which are almost cactus-like. In fact, if you go next door to the cactus and succulent show, you'll see these there as well as a lot of other plants. You see guys like this, which are the air plants, Tillandsias, which, you know, this one's growing in bark, but you can grow them without anything. In fact, most of these you can. This is a Deutericonia. You saw that big mound. It's the same family, but it's a different plant because this is a larger one than that. This is a needle, which is a stoloniferous kind of plant, which I love. You know, you can put them in a hanging basket, grow it on your tree. This is also a needle, as well as some of these guys right here that are all colorful and black. And you see the vibrant colors on these ones, right? Those are mine, so it's okay. You get something like this, Albertia,
yeah, that's
Hallelujah, which is awesome. These have this very vase-shaped looking thing. They have a flower that comes out that maybe lasts a week. And that's all. Beautiful flower last week. Some of the others, like that, you know, or this one right here, this inflorescence on this Recia, which is more of a soft leaf kind of guy, this will last like this for about 3 months. But they're just bracts, and the flowers will come out. They're little yellow flowers that come out in between. This will last you a long time. Buy something like this for Mother's Day, and she'll have it forever. She'll get tired of it, throw it in the backyard. This is a Acmea nudicaulis, which I think is great because of the form and the color. And it even popped the flower.
Yeah, that's
so
beautiful.
I can bring it into the show. So that's the variation. There's a lot more. If you go into our show, you can see so much variation, which is great, you know. That's why bromeliads are great. I grow orchids too, and you don't get as much variation, but you get a lot, okay? Oh, by the way, like I used to tell my class, anytime you have a question, go ahead and feel free to ask. Just let me finish my sentence, okay? Yeah, Julia.
Well, you just mentioned orchids and that you grow both, and I'm just wondering what's the, what if anything is the relationship between the two of them?
Well, orchids grow in a lot of the same places that bromeliads grow. In fact, many orchids are native to South America, Mexico, Central America, as well as the Far East. But, you know, they're all, many of them grow on the same branch. You know, you go to South America, you'll see, you know, the bromeliads growing right next to a fern or to a peperomia or an orchid. They're just going to be having the same kind of environmental. Well, I basically water my orchids and my bromeliads the same. Right now I'm watering probably every 6 or 7 days. Yeah, Mike?
This with the flower, with the tall one, that
Yeah.
will flower just once?
That will just flower once. Good, you're a good straight man, Mike.
Thank you.
Bromeliads will have the main plant, which will grow and they'll flower just once. You know, they're not like a rose or like a begonia or whatever, just keep flowering. Flower once, but like I said, lasts a long time. What'll happen is you'll get pups starting to grow out of the side. And in fact, that's what happened to this guy. The mother plant in here is gone, but all of these are pups or kikis that come off of there that have grown.
So each one of those can potentially grow a flower.
Right. So each one of these will grow a flower. So a lot of times when you get something like this that has a great flower, you leave it in a bunch and then you get
Got it.
half a dozen, you know, flowers coming out, and it's on awesome site.
Does this mean its life cycle is over?
No.
Or that it will
Over
change?
in terms of the flower,
Yes, but the
but it
plant
will
will
stay
continue.
there and
Yes.
continue to produce pups for about 3 or 4 years.
Yes.
You
Now,
want
There's
to
a
keep
baby on that one.
the pup on that one?
Yeah, there might be
And then
one.
between the leaves. I thought I
Keep going, right there.
Yeah.
Right there.
Next level up.
Yeah, that's probably more of a
On
leaf
the
than
leaf.
anything, yeah.
Does the
It's
plant?
inside the first set of leaves.
Oh, inside there.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
right there,
right.
yeah.
You're right. Good eye, Katsu.
Now, will it
Right
reject
here.
the flower?
Will it what?
Will it reject it?
No,
Will the
no.
flower die and then it
No,
falls
no,
off?
this will keep growing.
Yeah.
Like I said, it'll
It's a
do
clone.
like this if you do
Yeah,
it.
yeah, but the flower itself,
Flower
it just,
cessates and the parent dies, but the clones, the
oh,
little,
they keep going. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they'll keep going.
Wow.
it's a form of asexual
More than
reproduction.
one.
Yeah.
You
Vegetative
want to, when
reproduction.
you go to divide these guys, you want to let these little pups get to at least half to 3/4 the size before you take it off. Otherwise, you'll lose it. Okay? So that's one thing. Thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, like I said, anytime you have questions, let's see, Julie, you got your question answered, right? Anybody else questions as far as variety? Okay, now, where do you grow bromeliad? It depends on what kind of bromeliad it is. You see this guy, this leaf is very soft. You can touch it real quick.
Is it also
Very
sharp?
soft. Is it sharp? No,
Yeah.
it's not
This
sharp.
Yeah,
kind.
not this kind?
Very soft.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like handed to them. As opposed to something like this. You can be my
Sure, you bet.
monitor. That's
Now that one
very
looks sharp,
hard,
yeah.
okay? Now that
Yeah.
will grow in full sun, and this will require shade.
But this one's sharp.
So,
Yeah. That's
yeah.
In general, if the leaves are more leathery and thick, they'll take more minutes.
Right.
Why is it sharp? Is it nature protecting itself? Or?
Yes,
Yeah.
to a certain degree,
It's yummy.
it's harder to eat.
It's hard.
And sharp.
Yeah.
In general.
That's
If they
beautiful.
have
That's a
spines, they take less water then?
No.
Yeah, they generally will also take less water. You know, like I say, watering.
That's a gorgeous
I generally right now are watering about every 6 or 7 days, which if it gets really hot and if it gets windy, wind will take water out of plants more rapidly than wind will actually. So, but these guys hold a lot of water. Okay, something like this, you look at it, and it holds a ton of water.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so that probably is a cup of water, which isn't a lot. There's some that almost hold a quart of water. I just fill that with water to demo that with how much water. So they hold it in a cup. One of the problems with a lot of people when they get these, they say, "Oh yeah, you put water in here." And what happens is that you keep adding water there without letting it flush out. And then what happens, the water stagnates and gets rotten and it kills your plant. So a lot of people will do that with bromeliads. I recommend taking it in your yard or in your sink and just putting enough water to flush it out and put fresh clean water in it.
And then you can let it go a little dry between waterings, right?
You could,
A little
yeah.
bit. Not bone dry.
So watering, you know, something like Spanish moss, you guys are all familiar with, I should probably be over here. And I just have them hanging in my trees and just soak it with a hose. That's also a Bromeliad, right?
Tillandsia oistioides.
Yeah. Okay. So far, okay, so we cover water. The media, okay, most of the times I have been using something like this, which is a lot of my old orchid bark, because I don't like to reuse orchid bark because they have virus, whereas these guys don't seem to be off. I'm sure they have virus, but they're not affected like orchids are. And so there's a little bit of either compost soil and bark, orchid bark, and then I throw in generally a little bit of fertilizer to begin with.
But also a little peat moss, maybe a little perlite, rocks.
You can do that.
the
The
key-
people use different things.
But the key point is quick draining, right?
Quick drain, right? That's the key. It's quick draining, and it's open, very open mix. So some people use cactus mix.
Yeah.
Some people use total bark, and you can use any combination. Just for a demo, I have some plants growing in wine corks that I saved.
Wow.
Have them growing in that. And they do fine.
So in essence, you don't put these in the ground. You don't plant these.
You can plant
soil.
them in the ground. There's no problem
Oh, yeah?
with that. Yeah.
But they still need drainage.
They
Yes.
still need drainage, but
Yeah.
they do okay.
Huh.
I mean, I don't know if you notice along the drive through, those
Yes,
are all
yes.
Bromeliads.
Yep. And those are in the ground, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those are all. So anyway, so that's basically in terms of the mix. You know, you could grow these things in anything as long as the soil, as long as it's well draining, as long as it drains quickly and it doesn't. You know, now Bromeliads generally don't grow a lot of roots. Depends on what kind it is. Like the dickeas will grow a lot of roots, but these guys, they look like cactus, but they actually require a lot of water. A lot of us that grow these guys will actually put them in a dish during the summer with water because they absorb it. So mix almost anything. And let's see, well, light. Light makes a difference, okay? Most Bromeliads, orchids really won't bloom unless they have the proper amount of light. Like this guy here was grown in full sun. Just like this guy here is grown in full sun, or this here. But these guys here are, this is probably like 50% shade cloth that I have growing on these guys, or this guy right here. This requires a little bit more shade, but not much more. You know, if you have a place that has a tree there with ample sun, or bright sun in the morning and shaded in the afternoon, it would grow fine.
And Don, I think, isn't that the key point that you want the brightest possible light without burning them?
Right, exactly.
So the 11 to 3 sun is kind of tough. The midday sun.
Yeah, midday
in the
sun
summer.
is harder on plants, right? And so, you know, you want it, the most light you can give without burning is the best way to go. Okay? Fertilizer. I usually put fertilizer in my mix when I repot plants, but I generally don't fertilize otherwise. And a lot of people will fertilize otherwise, either foliar feed or put some slow release. Join us.
So Don,
release fertilizer.
I'm sorry, when you say that, I didn't make 2 cents. When you say that, you mean like a time release fertilizer? Mm-hmm. Okay.
You could throw a time release or throw a mixed fertilizer that you spray on the foliage, and that'll absorb that. So fertilizing is sort of, you know, a lot of times if you fertilize these guys too much, they'll actually lose their color and turn green if they grow too fast. You don't
And
want to go
it's only during the growing months, right? You only fertilize in the growing months, like May to October?
That's generally the case, yeah. In fact, I used to use Osmocote as a fertilizer.
That's what I like.
But Osmocote, as the name implies, is by osmosis, right? So it releases when there's a lot of water.
That's right.
But when is it the most wet in your yard?
The winter,
Right, and when are your plants growing?
the summer.
In the summer.
Yeah, yeah.
So, you know, there's a disconnect there.
Yeah,
So they came out with a new fertilizer called Nutricote, which is a temperature release. Right around 72, it releases its fertilizer. So if it's 65 and rainy in your backyard, it's not releasing fertilizer,
It's good stuff.
which is good because your plants, you know,
They're not growing.
Right. So for orchid fertilizer, that's what I use. And it's a 6 months time release, so I usually fertilize.
What's it called? Nutricote?
Yeah.
Coat, yes.
Nutricoat?
Yes.
It looks like Osmocote.
Nutricoat.
It
Yeah,
looks
I
like
don't have a
that,
sample.
yeah.
It looks like Osmocote. It's
Yeah.
a great palette. A lot of
Temperature
nurseries are
dependent
carrying
instead of
it.
water dependent.
And you could get in different strengths, depending on. Okay, so let's see. What did I cover? Media, light, water, fertilizer, air movements. One thing that they like is a lot of air, so you don't want to grow them right next to each other. Of course, if you've been in my yard, because of the lack of space, they're all right next to one another. The more space they have between each other, the better the growth.
Excuse me.
And plus that helps to keep down the pests. But they're, these guys don't get too many pests. Sometimes they'll get cottony cushion scale or maybe scale, but otherwise they really aren't bothered by a lot of pests, other plants. Let's see.
Are you going to show us how to divide that one?
Yes, I am.
Thank you.
You're a straight man. So you're getting ahead of the program.
I'm sorry.
Okay. That's the coup de grace. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Anybody else questions so far? Everybody clear on how to grow?
Sorry, I
Yes.
missed the watering part.
Watering. Yeah. What about it?
Weekly,
I water, like I was saying, I water about every 6 or 7 days right now. But I water very thoroughly.
Yeah.
Make sure you flush the plant. Don't let it just sit there. Just make sure it gets thoroughly wetted.
If,
okay.
if it's 100 degrees, water a little more. In the winter, water less. They don't want to be wet and cold. That's the main thing. Not below 45 degrees.
Right.
Dump them out.
I kind of have mine in my patio.
That's great. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Right now, every 6 days is probably fine. Just water them thoroughly. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's see. Are we covered everything?
Pretty well.
Yeah. Everybody's shaking their head like they know. Okay. Good. Yeah. Okay. So let's divide up this guy. And this guy used to have this sticking out earlier, and there's a few of these things. I just, this is one guy that's obviously not gotten TLC, right? He's just been
That's the
sitting
flower?
back. Yeah, this is the flower, right?
Yeah.
Right. And you can see all these things, so you could dump it out. One thing that I find is really handy is a mallet. You know how they tell you, take it on the end of your bench and knock it out.
Yeah.
Nice water.
That's the action sequence.
But I find that a mallet, and this works especially good for orchids. Just knock it out, and the pot comes right off. Okay, but anyway, so you got all this extra leaves and junk on there, right? So you just want to get all that off. Inside there's the old mother plant, right? And you can see, once you get all the old leaves off, you can sort of see, where you're going with this guy.
So, Don, those are all siblings, right?
Right. These are all, here's where the old mother plant was, and there's all branched off from there.
Don, is there an average time just how long that mother will live? Depends on the
An
care.
average time, probably,
Yeah.
they all vary, but probably 3 to 5 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So by then.
With proper care.
Yeah, right.
Wow.
Now you can see how this is what we call sort of stolen nymph, sort of like this. This one has longer stolen. You can see how these come out. This is somewhat stolen nymph, but not totally. But you can see the short stolen coming out here. When you cut this off, you want to cut it very close to the mother plant. You don't want to cut it over here, because then you're going to lose the meristem or the growing area. And you pot it up and it will never grow. You want to cut it off as close to the mother plant as you can. So generally, I'll just take it like this and just chop it like that. Sharp. Oh, here's the name tag of this guy. Sucri by Rhizodactyl. You got one guy like this, right? And you just take everything off and you just plug this guy. Okay?
And that root is important.
Well, there's really no root on here.
Right.
there are sometimes you'll get roots.
But
I'm going to cut this guy in
it
half.
can be an advantage to use a little rooting hormone.
Yeah,
And some
you can
growers
use-
like to let them dry overnight before potting them,
Oh, interesting.
to let the wound dry.
Yeah, you can use root tone or some other stuff that contain indole-acetic acid. See, here's one right here. There's another pup. That all. And see, so you got one that's really raw rooted. The other guys were stolen, so there's like not much. One thing that you can do when you have something like that, just pull this down, and it'll help to anchor the plant in the pot.
Oh, yeah, clever.
So that then, you know, otherwise it'll flop around.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? And you know how that works. If the roots are growing out of here, and this plant is rocking back and forth, guess what's happening every time those roots start to grow out? Right, they're going to be braided off.
You can use 2 chopsticks, or you can put a
You
top,
can use chopsticks,
a top dressing of
forks,
rocks,
or whatever eating utensil you want.
or some rocks on top of the
I
soil.
like to use masking tape, and I forgot to bring some. But I put masking tape across the pot, and it will, you know, hold it in place. I put
Oh,
a piece
okay,
across
yeah.
here, across
You
here,
can
like
put a little
that.
bit of pebbles on top
And
too.
then the masking tape, you know how it is, it goes, and eventually by the time it goes, then this is gone. Or like you say, put rocks around it or anything to stabilize it. So
Or those leaves. That's very, very clever.
Your point is to stabilize the plant to the roots.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
okay, now here's another guy inside of here. I'm not going to take him off because I could take him off. In fact, I think I will, only because we got a lot
A
of people.
little young, but it's okay.
No, it's okay, but make sure that you get the whole guy off. So you know, when you break it off, make sure you reach in and push on it so that you get the whole thing. A lot of times, if you break it off here, it's not going to grow. You need
It's gonna rot.
include this part down here, which is the Mary stem. Okay?
What is that called?
Mary stem?
Mary stem.
Yeah, you know Mary.
Key growing cells.
M-E-R-I-S-T.
It's like the spinal cord or main root or like artery or something?
It's a growing area, sort of like the ends of your bones where they grow.
Okay,
Primary cells,
So
got it.
nuclear
again,
cells.
same thing with this guy. I'm clipping these up. So then we actually ended up now with. Oh,
Sorry.
it's Ann calling.
Where
Where are you, Mike?
Yeah, it is.
He's
That's his
getting
wife.
drunk with Dawn.
This is-
Yeah.
Okay, so now we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 plants out of it, right? Okay, I'm gonna pop this one up because it has not. Like it, you look at it, go like that. It's got too much root, right? So, I'm gonna,
Or the pot's too small.
Yeah.
well, or the pot's too small, but you don't want to overpot.
Yeah.
If it's overpotted, then it doesn't use all the moisture that it
Oh, good
needs,
point.
so
Yeah.
it'll get tend to rot. So I like to use a small pot. So I do that. Get my mix.
And Dawn, can I ask a question while you're working?
Sure.
You could have made an aesthetic decision to leave the clump after you cleaned it up. You could have left it as a clump.
Sure, right, exactly. Exactly. You
But this is
can.
how you can give
Just leave
presents.
it as a clump because then you get more like this or more like that.
But
So
this
you
way
don't
you-
have to divide it, but this way you end up with 6 plants
Right.
as opposed to 1.
You give to friends or sell them.
Friends, enemies, whatever. Okay, I use this
Enemies.
because then you just push it down and it pots it up really nicely. In fact, I was doing this one demo one day and then the guy came back the next day and says, "Oh, my wife gave me this broomstick and told me to cut them up so she could have a potting stick."
Oh, that's
Which
cool.
makes it really good. So, you know, you get something like that.
Bad,
Really
but
well.
not too tight.
Well,
Because this
Pretty
is
tight.
as
Pretty
as
tight?
possible,
Yes.
Yeah.
you don't
Okay,
want it
so
to
we got
flop around.
You don't want it to flop
Got
around.
another one here. This I'm going to demo with this.
So they like to be in smaller containers?
Yeah, you don't want to overpot it
Because I did, I guess.
because if
Yeah.
it's, you know, I've seen big plants.
You just want to water less.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe
Was that what
like
it is?
that.
Yeah, I
uses-
put it in
uses
like,
less water.
like a 10-inch.
Uh-huh. If it's, I would never.
That's being optimistic, right? That it's going to grow to
You know,
that.
when
Yeah.
you don't know.
But I've seen big plants about this big with a 2-inch bottom.
Oh my
Really?
gosh.
Yeah.
That's really
So it's like, okay.
They're not.
And you leave them in the plastic things like that?
Yeah,
Sure
how
you
big do
can.
the roots get on these things? I mean,
Not
Well,
very
you
big.
saw the roots on that, right? It's not,
that's-
they're really,
They don't really
they're
have
not
roots.
really
Yeah, they do.
that
They have
big.
roots, but
Yeah.
it's a small area.
Here's the roots here on this.
Maybe 2 to 4
Not-
inches at the
They're
most.
not really great. It
Remember-
depends on the plant, though. You get a dickia like this, it'll have a ton of roots.
That's a terrestrial bromeliad, though.
so it's half absorbed in the leaf cup and half absorbed by the roots as far as water.
Yeah,
I mean, it's about
right,
half
right.
the
shape.
Probably
In many,
more
yes.
in the cup than by the roots. Although this, we do have roots or functional roots.
By and large, most of it's from the cup because they're epiphytes.
Even the big bromeliads. They
Yep,
use-
yep.
Yeah.
Most of it's in the cup,
Yeah.
though. Growing trees.
So anyway, so that's how you pot up, okay? And then, yeah.
And Don, one other question.
Sure.
What time of year, you wouldn't want to divide them in the winter, would you?
Right. Yeah. Ellen and I have an ongoing little argument about that. I always say I don't want to pot it up in the wintertime because then it's just sitting there and a lot of times it tends to rot because you have all that moisture.
Yep.
But, so I generally, as a rule, I don't take pups except March till August, end of August.
Yep.
That's it. After that, I don't take.
That's what I do too.
That's what you do. Well, that's good to know I'm in good company.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, one thing that you always want to do is make sure you have a label on your plant so you don't lose it, right? So I happen to have a bunch of labels. In fact, I probably should have written them all out earlier. But this is a Breccia, and it's Breccia sucrei crossed with Breccia erythrodactyl. I know it's a big long name, but I'm going to write it on all of these guys, okay? Generally what I'll do is I have on here the date that I originally got this plant. Like this, I've had this plant since 395.
Wow.
Wow.
Not this particular one, but that's how long this species has been in my
In the
collection.
collection.
And the last time this was a pup was in 288. So that's like, oh my God.
That's a very long time. Yes.
So anyway, I do that and I mark when I pup is 515. Okay, so we got one. This one's pup is 515. Okay. So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, again,
One napkin?
you have one?
Yes. Always.
Oh, you prepared. You must have been a Boy Scout, Harry.
I was. Use what you need. Go ahead, go ahead.
Good. No, I got it. Thank you.
Regarding the plant size and dividing them, would you put those 6 back in that same size pot, or would you have gone up slightly in size? If you hadn't divided.
If I divide it?
If
No,
you
if-
had not divided.
Oh, if I had,
if
yeah,
you
I
just
would probably
cleaned it
put
up,
it in a
you would
5-inch
go up
pot,
slightly.
yeah.
But
Okay.
only to a 6.
Yeah.
Or a hanging pot.
Okay.
It's a pot. I'm
Hey,
sorry,
let
Don.
me do this because I want to give these to you, okay? But let me make one last pitch for our club. I take one and pass it around. This is a little cultural piece which tells you how to grow. And this is our membership thing which tells you all the benefits of the $10 that you spend
This way?
on membership.
And one more.
She's got it.
Okay, good. Thanks.
Got it. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to give these plants to you guys, but there's more than 6 people that are here. So
No.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Me.
You don't want one? You
No.
don't want one?
There's 6 people.
2, 4. No, there's 2, 4, 6,
Oh.
8, 9 people here. Okay, so
You can stick it down.
what?
I don't read the, you can stick
And I will pass because I will kill it before it leaves the building.
Ah, no.
That's not true, Mike.
That's
Come on.
not true.
Well, I'll give you one at home. Okay, so then we got 2.
We got enough for the 6 people.
No, we still got 8 people. Okay, I got 6
It's okay.
plants. I'm gonna write down
It's okay.
6 number.
Oh, I like this, the contest.
You have to
got-
choose a number.
Are you gonna? You're gonna go. Okay.
You're okay. You just give them to the 6 that want it.
This you give to the 6 that want them.
Yeah.
So,
He's the
1,
one
2,
that
3,
brought
4, 5, 6. Are you guys with us?
But Don, do
Well, I
me,
still want to let people select the ones they want. So
but Don, do me a
I'm gonna
favor.
go. What?
Can you do me a favor? Just tell us when does the club meet and where does it meet?
No, I put that on there.
Well, just for the camera.
Okay, he wants it for the camera. We meet on every 4th Wednesday of the month right here in the Rotunda room. 4th Wednesday of each month at 7:30, except November and December because that's Thanksgiving and Christmas, right?
And this is the
And
veteran.
really, we would like you guys to come. We have a good program, as you can see on the back of that sheet.
Oops.
We have an annual spring show, which you're seeing here. We have bus trips where we go south and north. We go by and look at Bromeliad. We have guest speakers at each meeting so that you can find out more about Bromeliad. We have a show and tell where people bring in their plants to share with each other. We have a plant raffle table where you can buy raffle tickets and really expand your collection very
And we have some of the best refreshments.
and we have good refreshments. We also have a holiday luncheon and a lending library.
Thank you.
Okay, that's like this.